Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon. I would like to thank you all for joining us today. My name is Aparna, and I'll be hosting this webinar. Before we get started, please give me a few minutes to introduce Payatu. So, Payatu is a research powered cybersecurity consulting firm. We have a decade long track record with a singular focus on cybersecurity. Our foundation rests upon three pillars: community and conferences, consulting and training, and products. In community and conferences encompasses NULCON, an international security conference training and exhibition platform. Hardware.io is a hardware security focused conference along with other initiatives. Consulting and training focuses on thorough security assessments, which helps businesses to discover security threats and further provide training to strengthen network infrastructure. Lastly, we have three offerings: IoT Auditor, an IoT security testing and compliance platform; Exploity, an open source IoT security testing framework; Exploity Academy, a comprehensive online learning platform that empowers professionals with the knowledge and skills to excel in the field of cybersecurity, particularly in the context of securing IoT devices. Here is an overview of the various consulting assessments we are known for across the globe. We have delivered many cyber talks and workshops in top security conferences that also include Black Hat and DEF CON. We take pride in the decade-long impact we have created by contributing to the cybersecurity community all around the world. For those unaware, we have a community on Telegram. This is a platform meant for fostering knowledge sharing and collaboration in the cybersecurity realm. The community aims to educate various organizations with industry-specific cybersecurity content. Today, our bandit Prathamesh, Payatu's security consultant, will deliver a webinar on weaponizing domains. You can read all about him on this slide. Before I hand it over to him, I request you all to follow a few housekeeping tips. Please be on mute. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat box. We'll answer the questions at the end of the session. Lastly, I would request you all to adjust your window to fit to window for this session. We will be releasing the recording of this session on our digital channels. So make sure you are following Payatu. The links to our channels are in the chat box. If you are not currently following Payatu, ensure that you are following Payatu. Without further ado, let's get started. Prathamesh, over to you.
Thank you, Aparna. Hello, welcome everyone to the webinar, Weaponizing Domains, a guide to advanced phishing operations. So most of you guys are seeing me first time here giving a webinar. So I'll start with my introduction. So I'm Prathamesh Patil from Payatu, security consultant working specifically in red team. I am specialized in initial access techniques like phishing, malware, delivery campaigns, social engineering, and other. In my free time, I do security research specifically on zero days, new epithets, new techniques, and many other. And when I get bored from cybersecurity, I do games. So I'm a hardcore gamer. I play a lot of games, and I also do game broking things like I create my own mods. I try to bypass anti-cheat systems and many other. So this is all about my life, and you guys know more personal things about me. So feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. So let's start with the session. So the first thing is like webinar outline. We will start with boot up, where we will discuss some disclaimers, some legal things so that we can ethically start this session. Then we will move towards the phishing genome, where we will discuss about the phishing evolution, like how phishing has evolved from you have won a lottery to a sophisticated real world attacks, which attackers nowadays using, and even they are fooling the sharpest peoples. Then we will move towards the domain alchemy section. So from here onwards, we will set up our own phishing infra and try to create the same techniques. So we will purchase the domain. In domain alchemy, we will try to purchase a domain, not just a domain, a right domain, because a right domain can increase your chances or success rate of phishing. Then we will do reputation engineering, what content we need to host on them, and how you can bypass the browser protection systems or email protection systems by building the reputation and all the thing. Then we will discuss about summoning the evil or the evil jinx, the most famous tool in the phishing industry. Most of you guys are familiar with it, but if you are not, we will discuss in detail about how Evilging works and how we can set up it. Then we will go for the mirror BITB edition. According to me, BITB or browser in the browser is one of the best illusions you can come up with for phishing, because even if you send these emails to a person who are familiar with technology and login pages, they can't even uh, check that it is a phishing email or not. They can't even track you back. So we will do that as well. We will dig deeper into this. Then there is a mission debrief. So in mission debriefs, I'll be sharing you some important resources and some special thank persons so that you can visit them and you can go to their repositories or websites and you can do your own personal research. And at last, there will be a Q&A session where you can ask me almost anything. Just don't make me cry. Now, the most important part is disclaimer. So, in this session, we are sharing offensive techniques so that defenders can learn. The session is strictly educational, defensive, and research purpose. We will be playing with some scary tools with the trade. Don't use what you learn for pranks, crimes, unauthorized access, illegal activity, or to poke at someone's system without written permission. The speaker, the organizers, and the organization does not accept any liability for misuse of the techniques or tools discussed here. If you go rogue, it's on you. So be curious, be ethical, be employed. Now, there is a part we are setting up an expectation, because what you will learn from this session and what we are not sharing you in this session, that we will discuss here. So in this session, you are getting a premium loot drop where how modern phishing really works, how attackers level up their craft, how domains get enchanted into weapon, and how adversary in the middle attack gets chained up with BITB edition, which is really impressive. You will show a live demo here and how attackers are actually doing it. We will show that as well. By the end of this session, you will gain a new mental model, new defensive buffs, and plenty of oh damn. So that's the mechanism behind the attack movements. But keep your inner hacker on leash, because this isn't a speedrun to the dark side. Because misusing these techniques can get you in the legal troubles. We won't be handing out any source codes, modified tools, copy paste attack kits, or a step by step evil jinx or BITB build, because time is very short and lawyers are very fast. But what you will get at the end of the session is important concepts, live demos, and references so that you can explore by your own on your own system. So we will be not responsible for it. By the end, you will have leveled up your cyber IQ without unlocking any illegal side quests. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing is phishing genome. On my screen, you can see there are a lot of statistics, and I'm not going through each of the statistics, but my motive or objective of putting these statistics is phishing is an really important initial access vector. Why? Because if we can see from the statistics, the summary is phishing attacks are increasing year by year. Why it is increasing? So there is a rapid growth happened in the phishing attack late 2022 when ChatGPT was released, which means APTs or attackers are officially using AI in their phishing campaigns. Before 2022 or at older times, it was easy to identify a phishing attack because attackers were making lots of spelling mistakes, lots of grammatical mistakes, because they resides in a specific country and they can't speak every language. So whenever they are targeting a company which is not residing there country, and they will having troubles. But now with the help of AI, they can craft very sophisticated emails even with the professional tone and the professional touch, so attackers don't need to worry about it. And that is the reason that the phishing attacks are increased, and there are really high chances that you can see that even the recent cyber attacks, attackers are using malware to deliver malware and other kind of suspicious files using the phishing technique. So these statistics I have taken from different resources, like there are Zscaler blocks, there are Keepent Labs, and many other. So these are all the legit statistics. Now, if I talk about a recent cyber attack which has happened, everyone knows about it. It is an NPM supply chain attack happened in September 2025. The attack vector was targeted phishing campaign. So attackers impersonated as an NPM support. They purchased a domain npmjs.help, which looks really legit, and they sent an email in the context of urgent 2FA update to the developers. And lots of developer got phished. They thought that it's a legitimate email, and they put their credentials, and it impacted 18 to 27 packages, which has 2.6 billion weekly downloads. And that one phishing campaign cost 10% of the all cloud environment disruption globally. So you can imagine the impact. One phishing campaign, it impacted overall the world 10% of the cloud environment infrastructure. So phishing has a huge impact, and we need to consider phishing as one of the major initial access vectors, because nowadays for delivering any malware or any files, attackers are relying on phishing solely. So let's start with how we can set up our own phishing infra. So the first topic is domain alchemy. So there are two types of domain. One is an expired domain and one is a newly created domain. We call it as a newborn domain. So expired domains are considered as gem. Why? Because there are really high chances that there is an expired domain which you can purchase, which already has some reputation or trust, and you can use it for malicious purpose, and then you can pass under the radar. Now, how expired domains can be weaponized. So let's take an example. Let's assume that there is a domain microsoftblogs.com which is purchased by Microsoft for hosting some blogs or personal things. And later, due to some company decisions or changes, they thought that we will shift our blogs to blogs.microsoft.com on our personal subdomains, and then just abandoned the microsoftblogs.com. After 1 year or 3 years, the domain got expired and it is now available for purchase. And if you purchase that domain, you have really high chances that you can host malicious files, or you can use it for phishing campaigns, and you can easily pass under the radar because the domain is present on the internet from very long time, and all the bots, crawlers, or people visiting on the site, they have marked this domain as safe. Now, how to purchase these domains? I'll show you that as well. So you can see my screen. So there is a website called expireddomains.net. You can find it easily. You can just search it on Google. You have to create a account. It is free. So you can just use your email and create your account. Now in the domain, you will see this screen when you first log in. Now there is a domain search section where you can type the domain you want. For example, if I type Microsoft, and if I do a little bit of search here, it is searching the database. Okay, I will type here microsoft.com. And you can see there are plenty of domains which has microsoft.com in its name. So microsoftplace.com, microsoftva.com, it looks legit. And we also have the price, the amount for which the domain is available for listing, and where it is available for listing, like GoDaddy and other domain markets. So you can see at the end there are 969 pages, and each page contains almost 20 results. So there is a huge list of domains. You can go through each and every result, and if any domain convinces you that this is a good domain to purchase, I should invest money and it can give that impact, you can just click on the domain. It will show you where you can purchase. You can just click on any preferred domain registrar like Namecheap, and it will redirect you to there, and you can just make a purchase. That is how easy it is. You can easily purchase a domain from here which is expired. You can see all the status here, when the domain got expired, like add date, when it got added, and all the things. So based on that, you can make a right purchase. But finding an expired domain, it's really difficult, because uh, these domains, like, there are some banned words. Maybe they already use for hosting some malicious files, and they already have some banned reputation, like bad reputation. So even if you purchase this and you used it for your phishing campaigns or malware campaigns, there are really high chances that, because this domain is already blacklisted, your email will not get delivered. So in that scenario, welcome to the next method. So the next method is creating a lookalike domain. Now these domains are newly born domains, like they do not have any past reputation or anything. We just creating a new domain out of nowhere. So how we can do that? I will just hide this. So you can again choose any domain registrar like GoDaddy, there is Namecheap, Hostinger, and anything. And here, if I search for Microsoft.com, obviously the domain is taken, so it will tell me that the domain is taken, but it will also give you some suggestions. So you can see there is a microsoftmart.com and many other suggestions. So the first trick to purchase or create a lookalike domain is change the TLD. So in your scenario, if changing the TLD works, you can just go for it. Like if the official domain is microsoft.com, you can just purchase microsoft.in or microsoft.info or something similar like that. So if it works in your context, just go for it. Just change the TLD to your country location or anything like .in or .t or something, and just make a purchase. If that doesn't work, the next trick is add some dash characters like en-microsoft.com. Now this domain looks really legit, and unfortunately this domain is available for purchase at very low cost. I'm just showing it here for POC purposes. If anyone purchases the domain and use it for a malicious reasons, I'm not responsible for it. So this domain is available for purchase, as you can see. What I prefer is I do a subdomain enumeration. So on Microsoft.com, we can do a subdomain enumeration, and every organization uses a specific pattern to give a subdomain. So we can see that some organizations uses pattern like prd.maindomain.com or stat.maindomain.com. So instead of dot, you can just give dash, and it works most of the time. Because in phishing, we are specifically working on the percentage wise or the statistics wise version. So even though you send this phishing mail to 100 people or 200 people, we are not capturing credentials from 200 people. We are just relying on the percentage that at least 50% or 40% people will give us the credential. So that is how we are working, and we are thinking from that perspective. So that is why these domains, may not all people will fall for it, but at least 30 to 40% people will fall for it. That is, I'm sure. So like that, how we work and how we create a domain. The next part, or the next trick after this, is adding an letter which is most neglected in the English, which is S. So if I add an S, no one recognizes it. I will give an example. The original Microsoft login page is microsoftonline.com, and if I visit the website, it will open up a Microsoft login page here. And what if I purchase a domain which has S at the end? So it looks like this. Our phishing domain will look like this. It will have the same Microsoft page and all the things, and it will have login.microsoftonlines.com, and it looks really legit. Like almost 67 70% people will fall for it. So this is another trick in your context. If it works, you can add an extra S at the end of the domain or in the middle of the domain. Like you can keep it online and you can add microsoftsonline.com. So this is another trick. So you can choose any of the trick which you prefer, and you can just make a purchase of the domain. So this is how we purchase a domain. Either you can go for expired domain version, or you can create a newly born domain. Now let's assume that you have a purchased domain, a right domain which you want, and you want to use it for the phishing or the malware activity. The next part, or the next step, is creating a cloud server. So now here you can use any cloud provider. It can be Amazon, Azure, GCP, Linode, anything, but you have to follow these requirements. So the location of the server should be of the target. That means if your target company, you are doing phishing for a target company, the target company is residing in India, in specifically Mumbai region or something, you have to create your cloud server in that particular region. Because if someone logs in your phishing basically URL, it will give you MFA. In the MFA, it will show you that from where the login is happening. So that is the reason your EC2 server or the cloud server should be residing in the same country or the same region where the target organization is residing. The next part is minimum specification is 4 GB RAM and the 2 vCPUs. These are like minimum specification because initially we are hosting a website on the domain, and later we are hosting EvilJinx and BITV tools on the same cloud server. So that is why this is the requirement. The third part is like a Debian based operating system. So I'm using Debian 13. You can go for Ubuntu or any other Debian based operating system. It's on you, but make sure to choose a 64-bit version and not the ARM based version. And the next thing is storage volume of 8 GB. And the most important part is you should allow traffic on port 80 and 443 from anywhere. So this is the most important part. You can mess up in the all above steps, but if you mess up in the last step, it will not going to work. So make sure to allow traffic from 80 and 443. Now, the next part is integrating your domain with the Cloudflare. Now, why Cloudflare? It's simple. That is how it works, because you can create your own another cloud instance, or you on the same cloud instance you can install Bind9 and set up your own DNS server and do all the things. But being honest, that is just making your things complex for no reason, because Cloudflare provides good features in a free of cost. So yes, Cloudflare is free. You can just create an account, and when you create account first time, it will greet you with this screen. So it will tell you to add a domain. So you just put your domain here, and when you click on continue, it will give you two name server records. So from where you have purchased a domain, like for example you have purchased it from GoDaddy, just go to your profile, and under profile there will be a DNS management system. In that, add these two DNS name server records and you are done. Just wait for 5 minutes and your domain will be added here. So this is how easy it is. So that is why we are using the Cloudflare. So you can see initially I had 0 visitors on, I think in the screenshot you can also see I had 0 visitors, but now it has 317 visitors. These are actually bots and crawlers who are crawling my sites for the categorization purposes. So that means the content you're hosting on the website, it's good, and actually bots and crawlers are coming and they are liking the content, and there are high chances that our domain get categorized under a positive category. Like they will say that it's a legit or good domain, not a malicious domain. Now, after adding your domain into the Cloudflare, the next part is adding the DNS records. So if I click on the domain, let it load. Yeah, you can see on the right hand side, there is a DNS section. So if I click on the DNS record, in your scenario, the DNS records will be empty. So what you have to do is click on add DNS record, select a record in username. Here in the name section, you have to type @. So @ is basically a root. So we are giving root, like basically root directory, and the IP address should be your EC2 IP address. So I have already created one EC2 instance, and you can see on my screen, this is the public IP address of my EC2. So I will just put that into this and I'll click on save. So your record will look like this. The next is you have to give here star, because all subdomains, we are allowing traffic coming from all subdomains to our EC2 IP. So again, give here star, then your IP address, public IP address of your EC2 machine or cloud server. Click on save and it will create this two records. You can just ignore these two TXT records. I created this for monitoring my website and adding into the Azure tenant for this particular webinar session. So you don't need to add this. These are not recommended, but these two are recommended. You have to add it. Without these records, it will not work. So after adding the Cloudflare, you are done with the Cloudflare integration. So that is how it is. Easy it is, like it's simple. It provides you lots of capabilities as well. Now, next part. Okay, what after purchasing domain, adding into Cloudflare, and creating a cloud server? What to do? The next thing is create a content management system or host your own website. Now, how to host a website? Easy and simple. Take help of AI. So I will show you how AI can help you in all these things, because we know that you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to put lots of efforts into all these things. So you can just take help of AI and I will show you, let it load. Yeah, so I just ask AI two lines. One is, can you give me a simple animated coming soon page with professional theme? Use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only. That is important because I don't want AI to use any Node.js or any other frameworks. And it gave me a huge code. If I click on run, you can see a nice coming soon page with the animations and all the things. Now I also ask AI to give me a 404 error page. Just two simple things. If I go down, you can see it gave me a 404 error page in the same theme. And that's it. Our website is ready. Now how to host it? Just copy the source code. I can copy it, go to your EC2 machine. I will go to var.html. So this is a base directory for Apache. And here I have already put my index.html, the 404 HTML, and I have added some extra things. So there is a favicon.ico. So there is a website called favicon.io where you can go and upload a static image and it will give you different size of favicons for all different operating systems like Apple, Mac, and everything. So it will give you different sizes of favicon, as well as I have created a robot.txt. This robot.txt is also dummy. If I show you, it disallows admin, private, and other directories which we don't have, but I just created it because you want to make this domain look like as legitimate as possible, because bots are crawling on your site. There are multiple scrappers are coming on your site, and they will think that this website is legit and they will make your website as a trustable website. So that is why I'm trying to make it as legit as possible by adding sitemap.xml, robot.txt, even though it doesn't contain anything. Now, next part is in Apache, you have to create a config. So the configs resides under this particular directory, etc apache2 sites enable, and there will be a file called 00default.conf. If I open the file, this is how an Apache config look like. It's just a 5 lines of config. So what this config do, it will run our web server on port 80. It is giving the server name, which is our domain name, and it is telling that use this document root. So where we put all our files, the index.html and 404.html, And then we are telling that server that if anyone try to crawl to a restricted directories like test or something else, show them just error page, and that's it. That is how simple it is to run a web server. Now the most important part, which most of the people are scared of, that is setting up an SSL. So the next part is like setting up an SSL. How to set up an SSL? So with the help of Cloudflare, it is really easy. Just go to Cloudflare. You can see there is a SSL TLS section. Click on it. There is an origin server section. Click on it. And you can see I have already created a SSL certificate, but when you click on the create certificate, it will give you two files. One is certificate file and one is a key file. So I have placed my certificates in a following directory. So etc SSL local certs. Inside this, I created a folder which is my domain name. So this is the domain I have purchased. I created a folder with my domain name, and in that you can see there are two keys. So one is a certificate, one is a private key. I will show you how a certificate look like. So you can see this certificate and the private key will be provided by Cloudflare. You just have to copy it and add it here. And after that, you have to create one more file in Apache, which is etc apache2 sites enabled default ssl.com. This particular file lets you enable the SSL certificate on your website. So it is also similar to our previous file, just we are telling it to run on port 443. Use the same document root where we have put all the files. And here, this is the important part. We are telling Apache to do SSL engine on and use this particular certificate file. So for certificate file, we are giving the following path. And for certificate key file, we are giving the private key path. And that's it. After that, just to restart of Apache 2. In your scenario, you can just start Apache 2 and all the thing, and we can visit our website. So if I go to my site, you can see the website is running and it has a valid certification. So if I go to certificate, it is showing that the certificate is valid and it is assigned to my domain. And that's it. It is how simple it is. So we have hosted a content, and now we have to wait for few like weeks or few days, because let the bots come on your site, let the crawlers come on your site, let them visit, let them grab some keywords. Like I have added some keywords like IT management platform. Then also I have added my domain name as a company name here. So the crawlers and bot will grab these keywords and they will think, okay, so maybe it is an IT management system or something. After that, the next thing is creating another content or categorization. So what is categorization? Most of the people are familiar with it, but I will explain it here in a short way. Every industry has their own sector. For example, if a company or a business is selling medicines or they are giving consultancy services in medical sector, we will tie them up with the healthcare sector or healthcare services. If a company is related to banking or finances, like there is an ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and other banks, we will put them in under the finance and banking sector. Similarly, we need to categorize our website into a following category. There is a huge list of categorization, and we need to identify one single category and we need to use that category. Now, how to identify a category and how to apply the categorization on our website? So you can see there are many domain categorization websites. I have shown here on the screen. The same website will be shared in the chat by the team members. So you can take a look at this. So I will take just example of blue code, which is a semantic. So I will hide this. I will go to site review. Okay, let it load. And in this session, we are trying to do phishing for Microsoft. So we will create a phishing page of Microsoft. Okay, so what we will do here, we will try to check categorization of Microsoft.com. Some spelling mistakes. Okay, it is verifying that I'm human or not, and maybe I'm not. Yeah. Yes. So Microsoft is categorized under technology and internet section. Now I know that what category I need to target. I need to categorize my website as well under this particular section. So how I can do that? Just don't think that much. Take help of AI. So I will show you another chat how AI can help you in the categorization part. So I went to DeepSeek And I again gave him 3 lines of prompt that can you give me a nice simple animated website to categorize it under technology internet category. So I directly gave him the category and I told him that it should be professional content with HTML, CSS and JavaScript only. And it gave me some nice code, and when I check it, it's really good. Like it created a company for me named TechSpear, and you can see the title Technology and Internet Solutions. And the website is really good with the nice animations. We can see some statistics, and it feels really real. Like I'm like impressed with it. And I also asked him to create me a 404 animated page, so we can see the same theme and an animated page. And this basically confuses the crawlers, scrappers, and bots visiting your site that this is a legitimate company running under this particular domain. So now I just copy the source code, and instead of going to var www.html, I'm creating a new folder here. So I created a folder TextSphere, and inside TextSphere, we can see I put my index.html, the code provided by AI, the 404.html, and the favicons. I showed you the trick how you can create your own favicons, and the robot.txt sitemap.xml, which is copied from the previous site because it's just a dummy thing. Then we have to do a small modification in the Apache config. So etc apache 2 sites enabled 00default.com. So in this section, we have to comment this out and uncomment this following thing. So instead of using var.html, now I'm using var.textsphere as our root. And that's it. That is a one small change. You have to do same in our SSL thing because on 443, there is another thing running. So comment this out, make this running. Same thing. We have the SSL and everything set up. Just do restart. And that's it. Now the most important part here, if you visit your website, it will still show that coming soon page. It will not load the site because Cloudflare keeps a cache. So you need to go to Cloudflare. Under the caching section, there is a configuration. Click on configuration and click on purge everything. So when you purge everything, your caches are removed and you have a new website. Now my browser has cached this website, so I need to open it in my private window. So when I open it my private window, it should show the text pair. Yeah, so the text pair is running. And that's it. Like it's how easy it is to set up a company website or a shell company under your domain. And now show the patience because you need to wait, let the crawlers and bots come to your site, let them visit, let them think what you're hosting, let them grab some keywords, and your website will get automatically categorized if you're doing all the things right. Because if I show you like my domain, I didn't applied it for categorization because I purchased this domain only 1 week back before this webinar. I didn't had more time for categorization. And if I go here and if I put my website, .org, and if I click on check category, yeah, you can see the website is categorized under technology/internet section. Now why this is coming categorized as security risk, because my domain is present on internet from very short time, like it is a newly born domain. When your domain has very short time on internet, like if it is less than 90 days, uh, even though your website get categorized, it will be considered as a security risk. So that is the one issue. But you can see within few weeks my domain got categorized. But in your scenario, if you wait for some days or some weeks and still your domain is not getting categorized, you can just come here, you can click on other, and you need to select a product. So I will choose the semantic browser protection. You can repeat this product process for multiple products, or you can choose a specific product and then you have to choose a category. So this is what I was talking about. There is a huge list of categorization, as you can see some banned keywords which I can talk here. Okay, but there is a cloud infrastructure, content delivery networks, and all the things. We are looking for internet technology/internet, so you have to select this. You can categorize your website under two different categories. So you can see there is an internet technology category and there is an other category which I have not categorized, but you can put here finance or something. So you can put it finance, then you have to put an email address, and then you have to put the comment section. Like you have to tell that what your website is. Like you have to tell them that it is a taxpayer company which is running internet solutions and all kind of things, and you have to click on submit review. After submitting for review, it takes around few days and your website will get categorized. So this is how you can speed up the categorization process. But still, if your domain is like newly born or it has less edge on the internet, you have to wait till 90 days or more than 90 days, so that it will gain some reputation from all the crawlers and bots, and it will gain the trust. And that is how you can bypass the email security or browser protection systems. So that is one trick. So now we have completed all the steps. Like step one, we purchased the right domain. We discussed about different techniques. Step two is like we created a cloud server. We integrated our website with Cloudflare. We added SSL certificate and all the things. Step three is like we hosted our content on it, like the right content which we wanted to categorize and all. And in the last step, we discussed about how to categorize a website, like how to apply for categorization and how to get that categorization. So now we are done. Our domain is purchased. We aged it well. Like let's assume that we put that website running for 90 days or more than 90 days, and now it is categorized under the right category which we want and all the things. Now we are good to go with this phishing infra setup. So this is the step where we are setting up the phishing infra, summoning the evil. Now, most of the people are familiar with evil jinx, but the people who are not, I will explain them what is evil jinx. So, evil jinx is basically a adversary in the middle attack framework. So, you can consider it as a man in the middle attack, but instead of just man in the middle, it is more advanced than that. It is also considered as a semi-transparent proxy because it is proxying some main domains here. So, how it works? So, basically, attacker sends a phishing email. The phishing email contains a link called https://login.fakemicrosoft.com. So this is login.fakemicrosoft.com. When a victim clicks on it, it creates a GET request. So when a GET request is created, it will be sent to the Evil Jinx server because the domain is pointing to Evil Jinx server. Evil Jinx have a file called fishlets which contains all the configurations. Now fishlet will tell Evil Jinx that forward this get request to login.microsoftonline.com. So it is forwarding the request coming from the victim to an original Microsoft server, and when Microsoft server responds with that particular request, that it will respond with a login page basically. So when you visit this login.microsoftonline.com, it give login page in response. That login page will be presented to the end user. But before presenting, Evil Jinx will make some changes. Like whenever in the login page there is login.microsoftonline.com, Evil Jinx will replace it with login.fakemicrosoft.com, and it will present the login page. Now end user will think that this is a legit Microsoft login page. He will put his username, password, MFA, all the things, and after that it will submit the request. After submitting the request, it will come to Evil Jinx. Evil Jinx will copy the username, password, and it will put it into its database and it will forward it to Microsoft. Then Microsoft will verify these credentials. Like Microsoft will say, yeah, it is a legitimate username, it is a legitimate password, and MFA is all right. So he will assign some cookies. So these cookies will again get transferred to the Evil Jinx. Evil Jinx will take a look at the cookie. It will copy the important cookies, put it in its database, and forward these cookies to the end user. Now end user will get logged in into the Microsoft, or if Evil Jinx want, Evil Jinx can redirect this end user to an another website because it's an man in the middle attack, and Evil Jinx has still full control over this end user. So this is how Evil Jinx work basically. If you still wanted to learn in detail about how Evil Jinx works and how adversary in the middle attack work, you can follow this particular Tontac team blog. It will be dropped in the description by the team. So moving towards the next part, how to set up an Evil Jinx. Now this is, I would say, one of the complex topics where lots of people get like face difficulties. I will close this tab. I will show you how you can set up. I will close some tabs here. We will close this also because we are purely focusing on Evil Jinx here. It is really important. Yeah. So Evil Jinx has two versions. One is a community version and one is a pro version. It is created by the author Kuba Gradsky, and he has its own community, Breakdev community, and he has Discord group as well. So if you want to go with the pro version, in pro version, you don't need to worry about any OPSEC because the community version has lots of IOCs, and there are some features which are missing and all the things. So you have to do it all manually, but you don't want to like take care of all the things. You don't want to put the efforts. You can just directly go for the pro version, and you can just contact the Kuba, and based on the verification, all the things, you can purchase the pro version, and he will provide all the details and guide for setting it up. But in this today's session, we will be purely talking about the community version, how we can weaponize the community version for a phishing attack. So the last community version is updated 1 year back in April 2, 2024, and the version is 3.3.0. After the 3.3.0, whatever version is released, it comes under the pro version. So that is how it is. And due to that reason, this particular community version has lots of IOCs, because APTs were using this Evil Jinx tool in their phishing campaigns, and Kuba was pointed out in multiple sessions and webinars that your tool is getting used for the dark side, and it is not good. And that is why Kuba has added lots of IOCs in its tool. So what are IOCs? I'm talking about IOCs so much. So I have given a list of IOCs present in the Evil Jinx tool, which we can remove. Okay, so now I cannot show you each and every IOC, how to remove it and all the thing, because we don't have that much time, but I will try to show you one IOC, like how IOC looks like and how you can remove it. So for that, I will open this website in a editor section. Yeah, so it is opened in editor section. So we can see that there is a X Evil Jinx header present under the core HTTP under proxy.co. So if there are multiple directories. If I go to the core, there is HTTP underscore proxy.co. And here, this is a file. So in this file, how a IOC looks like. So if I search for set header, there is an IOC like get home dir. Yeah, you can see here. So there is a function called get home directory. Now you can go to just the source code and you can try to understand what each function is doing. So there is a set header function, and basically this function for setting an header, it is using this following function, get home directory. Now get home directory is basically getting the home directory of Evil Jinx, which is dot Evil Jinx, and from dot Evil Jinx string, it is replacing dot e with x dash e, then it becomes x dash Evil Jinx. So this is how is setting up an header. So how you can remove it, just comment out this part of the code and comment out whenever this get home directory is getting referred. So it is getting referred 3 times. So you can see here request.header.set, it is setting up a header using get home directory, and you can just comment out this part and wherever it is getting referred. So this is how you can just remove the IOCs. There are multiple IOCs present in the tool. Now moving towards the next part, like what are the different things we need to do for setting up an Evil Jinx. So if I go to our EC2 server, I have already removed IOC version. So I have a Evil Jinx folder, and if I show you with little bit of zoom, yeah, so this is how Evil Jinx source code like looks like. After compiling, it will give you a binary. Now the most important part in Evil Jinx is a fishlet. As I show in the diagram, fishlet will tell Evil Jinx where to forward the traffic, like to which domain. Is it the Microsoft, is it the Google, or any other? I will show you how fishlets look like. So I have a Microsoft fishlet already created. Sorry, I'll make it full screen. Okay, so this is how a Microsoft fishlet looks like. So if you guys are not familiar with creating a fishlet, or not familiar with how to set up an Evil Jinx or its features, you can take a look at Evil Jinx Mastery course. It is created by Kuba, the official author of the Evil Jinx, and it is a really nice course. It will not teach you how to create a fishlet for Microsoft, but definitely you will get idea about what are these particular sections in a fishlet are and how you can utilize them for creating a fishlet for other websites. So first 3 sections are basically an author or description sections, so these are not important. Then there is a redirect URL section. I basically put this section at the end of the fishlet, but most of the time I forget to modify it, so that is why I put it at the top. So what redirect URL section do is basically when a victim visits on a website, he puts a username, password, MFA, and all the things. When he completes the whole authentication flow, he will get redirected to this particular website. So you can do redirection to any website you want because it is fully under your control. The next thing is proxy underscore host. So this is the important section. Now here I will give you one OPSEC tip. So there is an original subdomain login and the domain is microsoft.com. So here the phishing website is like the original website is present, the login page, it is landing true and the session is true. We are using or we are proxying this website on login. So most of the eviljinx user basically proxy the main original domain on their same subdomain. So if login.microsoft.online microsoftonline.com is there, then they will proxy it to login. And if there is www.office.com is there, they will proxy it to www on their subdomain. But this is, according to me, is a not better OPSEC because Google has implemented a new anti-phishing technique or anti-phishing mechanism in Google browser clients, that is Google Safe Browsing. So whenever you are visiting a website, I'll explain it to you with the example. So basically what we are doing is if we keep it as a login here, so just this thing will get replaced. So it will become fishandchips.ppdns.org, and rest other things will be similar. Like it will look like this, login.yourdomain.com and the endpoint. Now, the part is when Google sees this, Google will try to match a pattern that there is a login subdomain and there is a path. So this path and this domain looks like Microsoft. And then it will try to crawl your website and it will see that there is a Microsoft logo, there is a sign in, and it is completely matching with Microsoft. So your domain will get flagged. So your domain will see a red error that deceptive site ahead, and it is like a your domain get blacklisted. So for that, in EvilJinx Pro, there is a feature called path rewriting where you can change this end path as well, which basically tricks the crawlers or bots or the Google Safe browsing that it is visiting a different website. So that is why I prefer to change this subdomain, because we are using the community version here. So we don't have feature for changing this thing, but we can always change this thing. It is in under our control. So I make it SSO, and rest of the things are same. Like there are different sections in the fishlet, and you can just save it and we can start it. So when you start EvilJinx for the first time, you need to start it in the developer mode. Now, why developer mode? Because if you just run EvilJinx without developer mode, it uses certbot and Let's Encrypt to assign an SSL certificate for your website. But as you know that in the start of our webinar, we have already assigned SSL certificate and all the things using Cloudflare, and we have already used put it. So we will utilize that in our BITB chain. So we don't want to assign any extra SSL certificate. So I will use that part. And when I start it, when you start it first time, you will see these issues. Yeah, because there is a DNS server already running on my operating system. Systemd resolved D, and the 443 port is already used by Apache. So what you have to do is just go to root.eviljinx. This was the home directory I was talking about, which is getting used in the IOC. And then there is a config.json. In the config.json, just change the DNS port to 5353 and change the HTTPS port to 8443. And that's it. We will take care of that ports later. So when you start it, it will not give any error now. And that's it. In your scenario, now you have to set up the domains and all the things. So it will be bank when you first time start the EvilJinx. So what you have to do is you have to copy your domain name. I will show it on top. So when you go config, then domain, then you have to put the domain name. When you click enter, it will get set. Same thing you have to do for config IPv4, and you have to give the public IP address of your EC2 instance. When you do all these things, these two fields will get set, and that's it. Then you have to do the same thing for fishlets. So if you do command fishlets, there is a Microsoft fishlet which we just created like I showed you, and it doesn't have any host name set. So I need to set up a host name ms365. I'll give the domain, and now if I check fishlets, now it has a host name. Now we just need to enable the fishlet, but I'm not doing this thing because we are chaining our EvilJinx with BITB, and we are not just solely using the EvilJinx. So I will just make it quit here. Don't start the EvilJinx yet, because if you start it, it will create a full screen page. So this is how your EvilJinx look like when you enable it. And this page is easily susceptible for the Google safe browsing mechanisms, and it will get flagged, and we don't want it. So how to protect against it is the best way is BITB. So what is BITB? So BITB is basically browser in the browser attack. So the we will discuss in detail when I actually show you. You will get an idea, but maybe you have seen it multiple times. How it looks like. So you can see there is a browser. Okay, so this is an actual browser. It is hosting a legitimate website. So there is a website, and on this website there will be buttons like login with Microsoft, login with Google. In back 2020, or when ChatGPT released, it was using this particular feature. So there will be a button called login with Google, and when you click on login with Google, it will open up another browser window. It is an browser window where you have to put your username, password, MFA, all the things, and after click submitting all the details, you will get into the ChatGPT. So this is how it looks like. But in the malicious BITP, which is we are setting up, this is not a browser window. This is just an CSS or JavaScript pop-up. So it fools the user that it is an actual like a new browser window, but it is not. It is draggable, you can do all the things, but it is just using the JavaScript. So we'll if you want to learn in more detail about what is BITB and how attackers can use the BITB for malicious purposes, you can follow the Melon security blog. The team will drop link for this blog in the description if you want. So we will move towards the section how to set up an BITB. Okay, so there is an author called Will Maas. He has given a very nice documentation about how to setting up a BITB. So if I go here, yeah, so here you can see there is a video about how BITB looks like. So you can see all the icons, the URL, and all the things are good. There is sign in Microsoft button, and it gives a pop-up. So this is how a BITB looks like actually. And Wellmas actually have a tutorial video where you how you can set up an EvilJinx, how you can chain it with BITB and all the things. He has given a nice documentation as well, like what are the things you need to install and how you can configure it and all the things. So you can go through this blog. We will share these details in the special thanks section at the end of the slide. So this is the repository. Now going one by one command will be time consuming. So I have already created a bash script out of it. So I will show you what BITB do. So I just need to run the BITB install.sh. It asks me for the domain. I need to give the domain. So this is our domain, and when I click enter, it asks me for the default directory of EvilJinx. This is our default directory, and it is asking me for the SSL certificate, and we have already placed our SSL certificate in this particular directory. So I'll just click enter. Now it is asking me for Windows or Mac. Now you can just go through the repository the Wellmas has provided, and he has provided a basically Apache configuration file where based on the uh, based on the user agent, he will switch for Windows or Mac. So you can just make it work for both. You have to just do small changes. And if I click on yes, it takes few seconds for the installation because it's very short, and that's it. The BITB is installed. So what it did, so first of all, it cloned the frameless BITB repo. This repository contains all the Apache configurations. You can see Apache configurations on the all the websites, like the static page we are seeing here. The page is also present here. So all the pages, all the HTML, JavaScript, CSS file, it will clone, and it will also place these files in var dub. If I go here, you can now see there are three more folders. So there is home, primary, and secondary. If I show you how it looks like, if I go to primary, if I do ls, you can see there is a HTML, there is a CSS, and there is a JavaScript, as well as there is one images folder which contains the images. So you can just go to that GitHub repo. It is simple to very simple to set up. You are just copy pasting the files from his repository to your particular directories, and that's it. And now we have set up the BITB. Now what is the next step is we have to start our EvilJinx. So I will go to EvilJinx. I will do /EvilJinx developer. Again, now we can enable the fishlet. So I will enable the fishlets. Fishlet enable MS365. It is now enabled. I will show you the status. Yeah, you can see it was previously in disabled status. Now it is in enabled status. Now we have to create a lure. So lures create ms365 and it created a lure. Now you are wondering about what commands I'm giving here. So basically these are the commands present on the EvilJinx documentation. You can refer the documentation or you can refer the EvilJinx mastery course. So you will get hands-on with this command. Then if we get the URL, we can see it created a URL and it is now using SSO instead of login. So this is our phishing URL, but still it looks little suspicious because the endpoint is not looking good. So we can change it as well. So lures edit 0 path and I will use authenticate maybe. Yeah. And now we can see about our URL. Now it has changed. So let's see how it looks like. So if I visit it, yeah, you can see this is how it looks like. So I will close this as well. So make a refresh, let it settle. Yeah, so all the browser caches and everything are cleared. You can see this is particularly an endpoint which is present on Microsoft. So instead of landing on this particular path, you can do a endpoint enumeration and you can easily find this endpoint. This endpoint was found by Wellmas and he has given description about it on its GitHub repository. So you can use this endpoint. It's an legitimate Microsoft endpoint and we are using that. And when I click on sign in with Microsoft, it opens up this BITV window. So you can see it has a user and all the things. It has login page and all the things. But I didn't like the theme. I wanted to change the theme because it doesn't fit with my phishing campaign or phishing context. It is currently using an awareness steering, which has a calendar on all the things. But I want to change it. So how we can do that? You can just go through the source code like the index html css javascript file provided and you can modify that source code to whatever you want. Now I have already created one bitv theme. You can see if I do ls, I have modified the html source code present on these two directories. I just need to copy paste it. So cps recursively copy all to var tap and that's it. I copied my theme and let's see how it looks like. So I will start EvilJinx again. Okay, now you don't need to create lure again because we already have created our lure. So it is there. But the most important part is you have to purge all the cache because Cloudflare will keep the cache. Now I will open it in a private window. I will open it here and you can see uh, there is a SSO website. So it is a fresh work copy. You can do anything you want with BITV. You can just clone any website. It is just a simple HTML page and all the things. When you click on login with SSO, it opens up a nice Microsoft login page. So I implemented this new Microsoft background and all the things in the BITV. So you can see here. Now how attackers capture the credentials actually. So I will implement a credential here. So I have one login. So instead of giving a legitimate email, I will show you giving a wrong email. Okay. So when I click on next, it says that the account doesn't exist. That means it is not a static HTML CSS page. Although this URL, this basically we can say this is a CSS pop-up and the URL you are seeing, this URL makes it more legit because if I open this URL in new window, it is an actual Microsoft page. So this creates the illusion that you are putting your credentials on a legitimate Microsoft page, but it is just an hard coded thing. So it is hard coded in CSS and JavaScript, even though the icons looks real. But if I try to click on this connection is secure, you can't click it because it is not that much well created or well developed that everything is copied. So if I click on the lock section here, it opens like this and we can validate the certificate. But for this, it doesn't open. So this is like an indicator you can take, like even though the URL looks legitimate, you can just check that it is a hard coded basically page. And now if I give the right domain, I'll close this. Yeah, this is another thing I have added intentionally. So I created the same user in two different account types. One is personal account and one is work school account. That means our request is going to an official Microsoft server, and it has verified that the email exists on two different types of accounts, work and personal account. If I click on work account, it is asking me for password. I'll give my password. Okay, I type my password. It is asking for an MFA. So basically this technique also bypasses the MFA. So we will check how. As a victim, I did a normal authentication flow, like I implemented username, password, MFA, and I got redirected to a particular website, which we put in the redirect URL. So we can do anything here. Now, as an attacker side, when I attacker opened it, you can see the first request is new visitor has arrived from Firefox, Windows, and you can see all the details about him. Then he put the email address and then password. So we got email address and password, which we can use further in our red team engagement for password spraying, or if we found any login pages on their website or anything for that thing. Then we can see there is a token intercepted. So we captured the cookies on the particular endpoint when the user got signed in. I will clear this uh, because you can see it on the top. So if I do now sessions command, you can see there is a session ID 433, which has a token captured section. So if I do sessions 43, it gives me a cookie. Okay, so from attacker's perspective, I will just copy the cookie. I will close this window. I will open a new private window. So let's assume this is an attacker. I will visit to my account dot microsoft.com. So it will open or redirect you to the official Microsoft page. I will click on this. You can use any extension. You can use cookie editor or anything you want. I'm using storages. So I will delete all the pre-assigned cookies. I will click on import and I'll just paste the cookies we got from EvilJinx. When I click OK, it will assign you two cookies, ESAuth and ESAuth persist. There are basically three cookies which are important in Microsoft. One is ESAuth, second is ESAuth persist, and third one is a sign-in state. So sign-in state is basically after putting an MFA, you will be prompted for do you want to keep signing in into the Microsoft. When you click on S, the sign-in state cookie will be assigned. But I'm skipping that part and I'm redirecting user to another website because I don't need it at current point. And if I click on refresh, you can see I got logged in into the particular user's account. So this is how attackers can compromise using an illusion BITB. And even though Microsoft has updated their website, we have applied the cookies. We can just switch to anything. And here you have full access to the user. The user got compromised using the technique, and this is how basically BITB works. Moving toward the next part, I also had a demo ready if in case anything breaks. So this is the important section. So if you want to explore these techniques on your own, like how to set up an EvilJinx, how to set up an BITB, and all the things, you can follow this. The team will put all the resources in the chat. So first special thanks is the Koba Gradsky. So he is the author of EvilJinx, EvilJinx Pro. He also manages the Breakdev community, and he also has the EvilJinx mastery course. So everything you need to learn about EvilJinx, you just go to his GitHub repository and you will find all the things. The next guy is Anon Uday. So if you are new to EvilJinx, Anon Uday has a good repository where it contains all the fishlets like Microsoft, Google, Okta, and all the things. Even though the fishlets are old, like 1 year, 2 years old, you can just refer it as a template. You can check what the fishlet is doing, and based on that, you can create your own fishlets. So these fishlets really help me as well for creating the Microsoft fishlets and all the things. So you can also refer that. And the third is Well Masri. So Well Masri is the author or the creator of the frameless BITB technique. Although this technique has little bit flaws, you can improve it on your own. But this technique is really great and it creates a best illusion according to me. So you can just refer to that guy. The GitHub repository is present here. So that is all from my side, guys. I'm up for a Q&A session. So if you guys any questions, you can just unmute or you can drop your questions on the chat and I'll be free to answer your questions. I'm going through chat. I think there are some questions. So So Mani Sashank has asked a question that so BITB kind of bypasses the Google Safe Browsing checks, and I would answer that as a yes, because how Google Safe Browsing works is basically when you visit a website, it will check for the path where you are visiting. So I give an example: login.microsoftonline.com. You can see it opens up this path: common, OAuth v2, authorize. And if this path particularly matches with a website you are visiting and it is not a microsoftonline.com, then you are doomed. There are also multiple other things. Google Safe Browsing not only works by using the parameter like this path or parameters. There are multiple rules applied in the Google Safe Browsing. It will check one by one, and if any of the rule matches, your site will get like flagged, like the red warning, deceptive side ad. That's it. Okay. Yeah, John Wick has replied to it that yes, you need to change your fishlet according to it. Right. So I showed you one OPSEC tip that instead of login, just create your own another subdomain like SSO or anything you want based on your phishing context, so that it will bypass the uh, Google Safe Browsing issues. Okay, another question. Ali Ayman said, however, users may still recognize a fake domain even if it closely mimics the legitimate one, while many are aware of domain spoofing technique. Yeah, definitely. So I mentioned very early in the talk, we are not doing an 100% phishing, or we are not targeting for 100% of the phishing. So whenever you get a phishing campaign, or whenever you are running a phishing campaign or doing a red teaming, we are sending phishing mails to almost 500 600 employees, and we not considering that 600 employees should click on the link and provide the password. There will be some percentage of people, like we will consider 20% 25% of the people, they will fall for it, they will click on it and they'll provide the credentials. And even though out of 20%, even one person clicked on it and provided the credential, that one person is enough to continue our engagement. So that is what we want. Okay, so John Wick has a question that then how's APT doing phishing? So this technique I'm showing you, like Evil Jinx, it is one of the used techniques of APTs, but it is not the recent one. So recently, APTs have two very common techniques. One is a purely transparent proxy. So Evil Jinx is basically semi-transparent proxy, not pure transparent. In fully transparent proxy, they have more control over the request response. And the third one is like a socket level phishing. So APTs has found out a new technique called socket level phishing. So there are phishing kits like DADSEC, 2FA Tycoon. I think you may have heard in like news, and like APTs are doing that thing. So if you are really interested to deep deeper into the phishing industry, like if you want to learn how the socket level phishing works and all the thing, me and Abizar is giving a nullcon talk on initial access mastery, where we will be showing you like how APTs are doing these things, because we have created our own framework which is similar to DATSEC and to FA Tycoon, which actually do phishing on a socket level. So instead of purchasing a domain, APTs are now using S3 buckets and Azure blob storages for phishing. So yes, you can host a dynamic website on S3 buckets using the socket level. That is really mind blowing, and that is like a next level. So what you are seeing in a phishing is just a surface. There is a very depth iceberg present inside you. Okay, so Ali Ayman said, as a SOC analyst, what practical steps and strategies I can implement to effectively protect my organization from these types of sophisticated phishing techniques. So the first most important part is like you have to train your employees, because every organization has a phishing like campaign like every year and all the thing. But I know that no one does this phishing campaign seriously. Like everyone try to skip it. There are trainings and lots of other things, but you have to train your employees really good that they should identify even a small mistake. Like I showed, there is an S letter. If I add an S letter here, most of the people will fall for it. Like I have done it in my red team engagements, and really I have like 30-40% of success rate. So lots of people gets fall for it. So you have to train. First is the training thing. Second is like there are like SOC rules. You can implement like strict policies, like any website you are visiting, if the website is not belong to your organization, like there is a whitelisting rule. If you can block websites like ChatGPT or other, like similar to that, you should block all the website. You just keep only whitelisting rule, only whitelist those websites which you are using. That is actually disrupt some of your operations, but that is the only way, because you know that phishing is increasing rapidly and there is no way that people get like literally block all the phishing attacks and all the things. Okay, so Manish Shashank has a question that what's the largest scale that the community version of Evil Jinx will work without any issue? Any idea on that? Yeah, the Evil Jinx like works on any scale, like even if you want to send phishing mail to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or more employees, it works. You just have to set up an SMTP server so that it will automatically send emails for you. Okay, Sefas Joseph has a question. If I add the Cloudflare as the DNS, will it not flag our phishing domains as spam and take it? A really good question, Joseph. So it has happened with me once, and I added my domain into the Cloudflare, and it actually blocked my domain for spam and suspicious. It can do that, but there are very less chances because if your domain is a lookalike domain, which is looking like a very big company like Microsoft or Google, if you purchased a domain called microsoftonlines.com, en-microsoft.com, or anything which has a Microsoft keyword in their name, Cloudflare blocking system will activate. So basically, Cloudflare blocking system works on a keyword basis. If you have a keyword which is resembling to any big websites or big giants, they will definitely ban you. So that is why there is another mechanism. You can set up your own bind9 DNS server for managing the DNS records and all the things. That it is not that much complex. You can just take a look at it. It will be really helpful. Okay, so Verion has asked a question. If the client's web application uses IP-based cookie binding as a mitigation against cookie replay attacks, will that mechanism prevent this attack? If yes, any bypasses? A good question. So in that scenario, the particular attack will not work, but APTs or red teamers are not interested in a custom login pages or custom domains. They are more interested in a Microsoft Google login pages because that provide them more access. If they got an Microsoft account, they have Azure, they will try to check Azure, they have Active Directory user and all the things. And if it is an Google account, they get an more access towards its personal directories, contacts and all the things. So specifically red teamers or APTs, they will first target for the major accounts like Microsoft, Google, and then they will go for the other accounts like any custom domains they have. Because to create a fishlet, you need to have a credentials of that portal. Then only you can create a fishlet. Okay, Sefas Joseph has a question. How do you send bulk mails without reaching the spam? Yes, there are like different SMTP servers. Like I can name few. There is a Bravo, there is a Mailjet, and there is like SendGrid and all the things. Although there are few like I would say services can block you, but there are few services out there. You have to do a little bit of research. I cannot name all of that, but you can use some of the email secures like sending solutions here. Yeah, Olympus has a question. What are your thoughts on static page phishing with bot detection like J4A? Yeah, it's actually really good. So I didn't cover it here because we had a really short time, but in our Nalcon session, we are going to give it in a really deep. So basically, you can implement in Nginx or Apache bot detection systems where you can detect the bot and keep them out of your website so that you will not get flagged. Because once you are categorized, you don't need bots to come on your site. You just want to host a malicious website and you want to keep it away from all the bots, crawlers, and scrappers. Uh, Bhunesh Satyan has a question that can MFA also be bypassed through this setup? Yes, we just saw. It prompted me for an MFA, but I captured the copy and I was able to relay it. Yeah, Chirag Savla has a question that do you have working Gmail fishlet? So to make Gmail has implemented lots of anti-phishing mechanisms and it is possible you can do it with community version, but you have to do a lots of source code changes. It Google has implemented the RPC calls like the encrypted RPC calls. So you have to run a Chrome browser basically in a parallel and you have to control it using puppeteer kind of things, so it is lot of more complicated. You have to dig deeper into it for that. Okay, so last question, Satyam Banker. uh, what kind of organizations we are targeting with these attacks? So it is purely a defensive talk. I'm not telling you what organizations you need to target, but I'm talking from a red teamer perspective. So if you are getting a red team engagement for a company, basically, so you can use these techniques on an industry level. So these are really good, like better OPSEC and all the things here. Your domain will not get flagged and all the things. Adarsh P has questions. So, do you think AI would ever fall victim to phishing attacks? I actually don't have any idea for that, but yeah, definitely you can take help of AI during this setup and creating the websites like I showed here. It really saves your time. It really helps you put less efforts doing all the complicated things. Joseph has a question. Yeah, is it not better to set up our own SMTP server with redirectors rather than using mail services? Joseph has a right point, but again, like you need to make a good reputation for it because the like SMTP servers present out on internet has actually a good reputation. And if you create your own SMTP server, there are like 50-50 chances that your mail will get landed into a target organization inbox or not. But if you use a well-reputed SMTP server, there are like 80 to 70% chances that you will get landed on their inbox. And this is what matter to us. So that is why we are using all the trusted things. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for these great words.
All right. So the session has ended. Thank you for a wonderful session, Prathamesh. Thank you, everyone, for being such wonderful audience. If you like the session, just put in like on the chat box to so that we understand that you really like the session. Okay, there are people waiting for part two, Prathamesh.
Yeah, we will definitely do part two sometime.
Okay.
We have a lot to show here. We will try to do a part two.
All right. Thank you, Prathamesh. Thank you, everyone, for being such wonderful participants. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. If you anyone have questions, feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I can answer there. Thank you and bye bye. Have a
Bye
great
bye.
day.